In the summer of 2021, the Pacific Northwest hit 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Many people were found indoors, windows closed, thinking they were safe. But inside, it was becoming unbearable, fast. My name is Ghost. This is the Old Wolf. He doesn't talk much, but he's never wrong. Today we are not talking about blizzards. We are not talking about frozen pipes or layering wool in January. We are talking about the threat that gets ignored in every survival manual written north of the equator. The one that can put you out of action faster than almost anything else in a collapse scenario. Heat. And a grid that will not hold. Stay with us, because what the wolf will show you in the next 12 minutes could be the difference between staying functional when everything fails and losing the ability to act at all. Here is the fact that should end every debate. According to FEMA, extreme heat is responsible for the highest number of annual weather-related health emergencies in the United States. Not tornadoes, not floods, not ice storms. Heat. And the most serious situations tend to develop not during the first hours of a heat event, but on the second and third day, when people have already exhausted their water, their cooling strategies, and their ability to think clearly. Now add a grid failure. A study published by the National Institutes of Health found that major electrical blackout events in the United States, defined as outages lasting at least 1 hour and affecting 50,000 or more customers, increased by more than 60% over the most recent 5-year reporting period. 60%. And when those blackouts coincide with a heat wave, the temperature inside your home does not stay level. It climbs. It keeps climbing until there is no meaningful difference between being inside your home and standing in the middle of a parking lot in July. Your neighbors will not understand this yet. They will close their curtains and wait it out. They will sit on their couch while the air inside reaches 95, then 100, then 104 degrees Fahrenheit. They will mistake sweating for cooling. They will mistake discomfort for a problem that will pass on its own. It will not pass. This is why the wolf prepares before the heat arrives, not during, before. That window matters more than people realize. There is one item that costs under $8 and will drop the air temperature around your body by 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit with zero electricity required. The wolf will demonstrate it in 6 minutes. Do not skip ahead. The context matters. Let us talk about what is actually happening inside you when the temperature climbs, because if you do not understand the mechanism, you will not respect the timeline. Your body has one primary cooling system: sweat. When sweat evaporates off your skin, it carries heat away from your core. That is the entire mechanism. Simple, elegant, and completely dependent on two things: moisture and airflow. When humidity is high, sweat does not evaporate efficiently. When there is no airflow, sweat sits on your skin and does nothing. Both conditions are common during a grid-down heat event, because the same power surge that shuts down your AC also shuts down every fan in the house. Now here is the progression, and this is where most people make the mistake that costs them their operational capacity. Stage 1 is heat exhaustion. The CDC defines this as the point at which your body begins losing excessive salt and water through sweating. You will feel heavy. Your muscles will cramp. You will be pale, wet, with a pulse that is fast but weak. This is the warning. This is still fully recoverable with the right actions taken quickly. Stage 2 is serious overheating, what medical professionals call heat stroke. According to physicians at Cleveland Clinic, this occurs when your core temperature exceeds 104 degrees Fahrenheit and your body can no longer regulate itself. You stop sweating. You become disoriented. You lose the ability to make clear decisions. The people around you may notice you are not acting like yourself before you notice it yourself. At this stage, your body is no longer regulating temperature effectively, and it needs immediate support to get back to a functional state. According to the same medical guidance, acting fast, within the first minutes, dramatically improves outcomes. Every minute of delay makes the recovery process longer and more demanding. The key warning sign that separates stage 1 from stage 2 is this. When someone stops sweating and starts acting confused or out of character, that is no longer a comfort problem. That is a situation requiring immediate action. Here is a fact directly from FEMA guidance. Do not rely on a fan as your primary cooling device. In air that is already hotter than your body temperature, a fan does not help you stay cool. It accelerates the problem. Write that down. When the air temperature is above body temperature, moving more of that air across your skin makes things worse, not better. Most people preparing for a grid-down summer are focused on the wrong problem. They are stockpiling water. That matters, but plain water alone will not keep you functional. The wolf will show you in 3 minutes why electrolytes are the actual priority, and what a 40-year-old military approach to hydration teaches us that no sports drink commercial ever will. Let us talk about water, and let us be precise. FEMA's standard guidance, 1 gallon per person per day, is a baseline built for mild conditions and minimal physical exertion. In extreme heat, that number is insufficient. The World Health Organization's technical guidance on emergency water requirements confirms that in high heat scenarios, fluid requirements can double or triple depending on activity level and ambient temperature. 3 to 4 liters of drinking water per day is the realistic minimum in a heat event. Not a target, a floor. But here is what most survival guides do not tell you, and it is where people who think they are prepared actually run into serious trouble. Plain water, consumed in large quantities without electrolytes during extreme heat, can seriously disrupt your body's mineral balance and cause a sharp drop in your ability to function and perform. It is called hyponatremia, critically low blood sodium. When you sweat, you are not losing water alone. You are losing salt, potassium, and other electrolytes at a rate of up to 2,000 milligrams of sodium per hour during moderate outdoor activity in hot conditions, according to research indexed by the National Center for Biotechnology Information. If you replace that fluid loss with plain water and nothing else, you dilute what little sodium remains in your blood. The result is nausea, confusion, and a significant decline in your ability to function and think clearly. It can look exactly like serious overheating, but it is the opposite physiological problem, and treating one like the other makes both worse. The solution is simple and inexpensive. Salt. Specifically, a measured pinch of table salt and a small amount of sugar added to water creates a basic oral rehydration solution. This is not a prepper theory. This is the same principle behind WHO oral rehydration therapy used in disaster response worldwide. If you have sports drink powder in your supplies, use it, mixed at half strength with water, not full concentration. The sodium to sugar ratio matters more than the brand. The old wolf carries 2 things in his heat kit: water and a small supply of oral rehydration salt packets, available at any pharmacy for under $5, shelf-stable for years, and weighing almost nothing. That is the item we mentioned at the top of this video. Not a gadget, not technology. Basic chemistry that has been keeping people operational in extreme conditions for decades. Now let us talk about the building itself. Your home, in a heat event without power, is working against you. Every surface that absorbs sunlight throughout the day continues radiating that heat back into your living space through the night. This is called thermal mass, and it is the reason that the hottest part of the night often arrives hours after sunset. The wolf's approach to heat is the same as the approach to cold. Build a controlled microenvironment inside the space you occupy. Manage what you can manage. Here is the system in order of priority. First, block the heat before it enters. This happens at the windows. Reflective material on the exterior side of glass is far more effective than curtains on the interior side. Aluminum foil, reflective emergency blankets, or cardboard wrapped in foil placed inside window frames with the reflective side facing outward. These intercept solar radiation before it converts to heat inside your walls. The physics are straightforward. Reflect before it converts. Second, use evaporative cooling. Hang a wet sheet or wet cloth across a window opening on the windward side, the side where air is entering. As air passes through the damp fabric, water evaporates and removes heat from the airstream before it enters the room. This is the same principle behind industrial swamp coolers. It requires 0 electricity. In dry climates, where heat events are most intense, this approach can reduce incoming air temperature by 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Re-wet the sheet every hour. The more consistently you maintain it, the more effectively it works. Third, use your body's pulse points. This is standard military field knowledge. Applying cool water or a cold cloth to the wrists, neck, armpits, and inner thighs, where major blood vessels run close to the surface, cools circulating blood faster than any other method accessible without equipment. You are not just cooling the skin, you are cooling the blood itself, which then carries that reduction back to your core. Fourth, sleep low. Heat rises. The floor of your home will be 3 to 5 degrees cooler than the air at standing head height. In serious heat conditions, a sleeping pad on the lowest floor of your home, positioned away from exterior walls that retain daytime heat, is not a comfort adjustment. It is a functional decision that directly affects how recovered and clear-headed you will be the following day. Fifth, restructure your schedule. Before air conditioning existed, working people organized their entire daily rhythm around heat. Physical tasks before 10 in the morning. Rest and recovery during peak sun hours, noon to 4 p.m. Activity resumed after the temperature began to descend. This is not inconvenience. It is physiology. Your body's thermoregulation capacity is at its lowest during peak sun hours, and in a grid-down scenario, pushing through that window increases the risk of serious overheating significantly. The wolf does not operate during peak heat. He works in the morning. He holds position at midday. He works again in the evening. That schedule is not a preference. It is a system. Everything I have described so far costs under $40 total, fits in a single grocery bag, and can be deployed in any home within 30 minutes. The Wolf is going to show you the complete kit before we close, including 3 items that most people overlook entirely. Here is exactly what the Old Wolf keeps prepared specifically for a heat event. 1. Oral rehydration salts, not sports drinks, not energy drinks. Huo Formula Oral Rehydration Salts, available at most pharmacies under multiple brand names, typically under $5 for a 10-packet supply. These go in your go bag and your home kit. They weigh nothing and last for years. 2. Reflective Emergency Blankets. The same Mylar blankets sold in cold weather survival kits work in reverse for heat. Deployed as window coverings with the reflective side facing outward, they intercept a significant portion of incoming solar heat before it enters your space. A pack of 4 costs under $10. 3. A bandana or neck buff per person, soaked in water and worn around the neck, positioned over the carotid arteries. Re-wet every 20 to 30 minutes. This one item, used consistently throughout the day, meaningfully extends the amount of time you can stay alert and functional in heat without any additional equipment. 4. A waterproof thermometer. Not for monitoring the weather, for monitoring your people. If someone in your group registers 103 degrees Fahrenheit, that reading tells you the situation has changed. It requires immediate response. Ice or cold water to the pulse points, shade, hydration, and active cooling by whatever means you have available. A thermometer gives you information before the situation becomes harder to manage. That is what the Wolf calls situational awareness applied to the body. 5. A 5-gallon bucket with a lid. Filled with water and kept in the coolest area of your home, this is your primary cooling reservoir for wet cloths, for foot soaks, for wetting down sheets, for emergency body cooling. It is not sophisticated, and it works. The Old Wolf does not build this kit during the heat wave. He builds it in spring. He tests it in May. Because by the time the grid is struggling in August and temperatures are climbing, the stores are cleared out and the prices have moved. That is the difference between preparation and reaction. A viewer recently made a point that I think is exactly right. Cold gets all the attention. Cold has the dramatic visual, the ice, the storm, the whiteout footage. Heat is invisible. Heat is quiet. Heat works in degrees over hours, not in a single dramatic moment that announces itself. But FEMA's own guidance identifies extreme heat as the leading source of weather-related health emergencies in the United States. Not the most cinematic threat, the most consistent one. And when the grid goes down during a heat event, as it has done with increasing frequency, given that major blackouts have risen by 60% over the last 5 years, the problem escalates very quickly. You now understand the mechanism. You know the two stages and what separates them. You know what your body actually needs and what approach will make things harder, not easier. And you have the kit. 3 free documents are in the description below. The 11-item prep checklist, the 30-day action plan, and the priority wall card for your garage or pantry. Download them now while the information is fresh. Print the wall card. Put it somewhere you will see it. The old wolf prepares before the season changes. That is how he stays in the game when others are reacting. Preparedness is not panic. It is clarity applied early.